All right, so a bit of a random one today. But yeah, woke up with lots of self-doubt this morning. Started doubting myself. What am I doing on YouTube? Why am I creating this content? Who do I think I am? Those sort of thoughts. I started then thinking about it all, trying to break it down. And that's what I want to stress is that even though I've gone through a huge mind and body transformation, lost loads of weight, 19 and a half stone down to 11 stone 2, 40% body fat down to like 11.2, don't drink anymore, so it's been sober for like 5 months. I've done all of these big things which I never thought I'd be able to achieve, but I now have. And sometimes you think you'll do that and then you're done. You can now just cruise. Life doesn't work like that. So you still have to tackle issues that arise, but I found that I'm much better able to deal with these situations. So I thought I'd do this video whilst it's fresh in my mind to talk about that. So yeah, like I say, loads of doubt this morning, thinking, shit, if this does go viral and everyone starts watching this content, people might start talking about it and judging me. It's going to be a bit easier to deal with now because I've lost the weight, etc. So I've got real hard results, but still, I had a bit of fear there. And I realised that fear, it typically, and it did this morning, it stems from lack of confidence. So you're fearful that you're going to be putting this time in, you're going to put in all this effort, you're going to commit to this stuff that you're doing, weight loss, not drinking, not smoking, trying something new like a new career or this, YouTube channel. You're going to be putting in lots of effort into these things, but when you start putting in the effort, you're at the beginning of that journey, so you haven't had the results yet. So like I said, with my weight loss journey, it's easier now around people because they are like, wow. And when you've got the results on paper, I walk around with the results, it's easier to talk about and people now understand why I've done what I've done. But with something new like this YouTube, yeah, it was that lack of confidence. I'm like, well, this could flop. I might create 5 or 6 videos. It dies forever. What a waste of time. Number one, it's not a huge waste of time because I'm learning from doing this. I'm learning how to video edit. And realistically, I've got time on my hands because I'm not drinking anymore. I am looking for ways to fill my time to an extent, not in a bad way. It's just I'm trying to figure out what do I actually enjoy. And I'm learning loads of different things which I do enjoy. And I've actually learned that, video editing and stuff like that. Just the simple stuff. Obviously, I'm doing it in a super basic way, but it's actually really good for my brain. It's good to have something to focus on, and it's probably a skill I can apply into other areas of my life anyway. Yeah, it's that lack of confidence around where will you achieve the results that you want and the fear that comes with that. And I think that holds so many people back. We're too scared as humans very often to try new things because we're just worried about failing. And you're going to look stupid if you put in loads of effort and you fail. However, I then started thinking around what have I done that's decent throughout this transformation? Because if I think about those points, then maybe things will crop up which will help me deal with this sort of fear that I'm feeling at the moment. And to give a few examples, obviously I've lost loads of weight. And it's things like that. So you go through this weight loss journey. It was a big journey realistically, but obviously the aim was to lose weight. And you think, oh, I'll look better, I'll feel better, rah, rah, rah. But then what you need to realize is that there's so many points along this journey where you're doing it to lose weight, you're doing it to look better. There are so many times when you're going to look worse on this journey. Your body is going to be doing weird and wonderful things as you lose weight. It is remarkable what it can do. But when you lose weight, there are going to be times where your whole body shrinks a little bit. So it shrinks and your skin can't catch up. Or there's going to be days where you're hitting the gym too hard or you're hitting squash too hard. I play loads of squash. And your body's inflamed. And when it's inflamed, it might be carrying water. But all of this is just part of the journey. So I realized I stuck to my plan. I had a plan in place for my weight loss, for example. Stuck to that plan, got through it. Despite those issues where you think, what the fuck? I've literally lost 2 stone and I feel worse wearing this t-shirt than I used to. And it's like, yeah, because that t-shirt used to be tight across my body and therefore my arms would look bigger. And even though your volume was bigger, you might have filled that t-shirt out more. You've then shrunk, you're wearing the same t-shirt, it's now baggy on you and you just look sort of skinny fat. Things like that can happen. I would say when those things happen, I've learned you just need to stick to your plan and keep going in that same direction, okay? Similar story with squash. So like I say, hugely into my squash. I'm a team captain in my home county back in the UK. I'm also playing loads of squash out here in Dubai. But yeah, throughout this whole transformation, because obviously I'm a team captain, I see loads of different players from different clubs, etc. And eventually they all know that I'm on a weight loss journey. I'm drinking less, I'm eating less. They all become aware of it. And then it therefore becomes super hard where the amount of matches I've lost during this transformation where I would have beaten them before even starting this transformation is insane. I.e., when I was 17, 18 stone, I might have been beating these certain players. I then go through this transformation. At certain points I was 15 stone, 14 stone, etc. I remember playing these same people. I'd be 14 stone, literally like having lost, 5 and a bit stone, thinking I'm just going to destroy these people. But because I was at such a big calorie deficit day after day after day, it takes such a hit on your body. My energy levels sometimes would be low, sometimes brilliant, and I'd perform amazingly. But sometimes I'd have those terrible performance days, wouldn't turn up on court. My brain would literally function slower because I was at such a big deficit at certain times trying to hit my goal, whereby I'd be losing these matches against people that I used to beat. And that's hard, but it comes back to this confidence piece. You need to believe in what you're doing. So if you get your plan in place, listen to people, do your research, copy people where it's actually proven to work, where they've got a proper plan that works, and stick to that plan with ruthless confidence. And I would have to do that. The amount of times I would do that, imagine that, losing the match to someone you used to beat when you were massively overweight. You've just lost that match. All I would do, typically, historically, even if I did win or lose, obviously smash the pints, have the food after. It's quite a social event, squash, or team squash especially. You do your matches and afterwards, you have food and drinks. We'd host it or the other club would host it. You imagine now I might have lost to someone I would typically beat. All my old body would want to do is smash the pints. But then you'd be like, no, I just have a water or have a protein shake. The amount of meals I'd have, so they'd be doing spaghetti bolognese. That's an easy one to bulk cook for lots of people. I would just have bolognese and salad. Or it'd be chicken and chips. I'll just have the chicken and salad. Or it'd be fish and chips. I'll just have the fish and veg. Whatever it may be, it would have been so easy at those times. It would have been such an easy excuse to fall victim to that pressure. So the people looking at you thinking, hang on a minute, you're not eating anything nice. In their words, it's not true, but it looks like you're not eating any good shit. You're not drinking anymore. You're having water. You're having protein shakes. Yeah, you've got a bit lighter, but you're not even performing at squash. What is the point? So it'd be so easy at those times to give it all up. Like the same sort of story with this YouTube. I haven't got all of the results yet. The results I'm looking for would be hundreds of people reaching out to me to say, I've transformed my body. I've transformed my mind. Me and the missus are much better now. I went for the new job and I got it, or I've relocated, or I've gone on the holiday of our dreams, etc., etc., etc. If I could magically click my fingers and have those results now, it would give me the confidence to know that what you're doing on YouTube is good. Keep doing it. Look, you've got these results pouring in. Life doesn't work like that. You've got to put in the work first. Stick to the plan. Believe in yourself, which is really hard, but your belief goes up and up, especially when you start achieving these mini goals. So if you set yourself a massive goal, break it down into smaller, more achievable targets, obviously. As you start breaking those barriers and breaking into those new targets, your confidence is going to go up. But yeah, you need to stick to those plans in those scenarios where the pressure from other people is so huge. Sometimes I think it's just that people want to bring you down to their level and they want to stop your momentum. But equally, sometimes it might look like you're miserable, you're not eating, you're not drinking, you're not even winning at squash now. It's clearly not working. That isn't the case. Stick to your plan. As an example on squash, I've obviously continued to play in Dubai. And realistically, I've gone through all of those different stages where sometimes I perform, sometimes my performance would drop. I'm so much more fit on court. I started here in Dubai and there's about 140 members at the club I'm playing at currently. They did like a calibration session initially to see what level they think you're at. And I was ranked about 45 out of 140, so not bad. That put me into the intermediate category. I felt like I was better than that. And it was really weird coming over here and people thinking you're the fit one. I never used to be that, but that was quite funny. But yeah, calibrate around that level. I've then continued to play. Whilst in Dubai, I finally got to a time where I'm now increasing my calories. So obviously I don't need to lose any more weight. I'm looking to maintain or actually gain, put on some lean mass now. but therefore I can eat at maintenance or beyond, which is what I'm doing. My energy levels have come back. I'm playing the best squash of my life by a mile, by an absolute mile, which is good timing because I'm out here playing all these new people. But my standard is so far beyond where it was. Anyway, started at rank 45. I remember playing one player on that session who was advanced, and he said, "Oh, yeah, intermediate or advanced, that's around your level. You're a good player, but you're definitely in the right sort of group." And I thought, no, I'm better than this. I'm a better player than this. I was getting used to the conditions, etc., etc. Anyway, long story short, played loads of matches since. I think I've had 38 matches in a few weeks, shorter matches. But yeah, I've done that, and they basically calibrate your scoring after every match, and you go up or down. I then moved from intermediate to advanced. I then played the person who told me that advice, who said, "You're probably in the right group, give it a few months and then you might progress up." I went to advanced, which is the group he's in. He's never beaten me since, which is quality. So I've beat him every time now, and then he sort of realised, oh, he's a decent player. And I've just literally in the last week actually gone right all the way up to elite. So I'm now in the top group, which is the elite group. Same story. I had someone I played initially in that elite group where I first went up and he beat me. He's never beaten me since. Obviously, it took time for me to get used to these conditions. It even took time for my body to get used to the increased calories. I was feeling a bit heavy and sluggish for a few days after I started increasing my calories. Now, I've just got all the benefits of being lighter and fitter, but with the extra calories, I'm way stronger and faster. My brain is working really well. I'm making really good decisions on court. And yeah, all the way up to elite. And I'm now ranked number 7 out of 140 at the entire club, which is insane. Going back to when I was starting this journey at 19.5 stone, I would say I'd be ranked around 100. I would have thought, just guessing, but I know what the level of these players are now, so I probably would have been ranked around 100. And that goes back to my point, being like ranked 100. The people I would have beat back then, being, let's say, playing around level rank 100, throughout this journey, sometimes they've beaten me because I'm on a journey. There are going to be things which dip, some things which spike. It's all going to go up and down. But now I've come out the other side of it, and I trusted myself and stuck with those results, and I didn't have those pints, didn't have the chips, didn't have the spaghetti, didn't have all of the garlic bread and all of this food and drinks after these matches. Even if I lost, it stuck me to my plan, and therefore my trend lines continued in the right direction. And then equally, obviously, I've come off the back of this journey, and I had Egypt. So I recently had a 2-week holiday in Egypt, all inclusive. Didn't touch a drop of alcohol, didn't even want to. Loved the holiday, probably one of the best holidays I've ever had. And didn't go crazy on diet either. Basically kept my diet the same, didn't put on 1 pound of fat, not 1 pound of weight whatsoever. Probably came back leaner because I was more active, walking, swimming, doing all the activities. But yeah, done stuff like that. That raises your confidence massively. When you start these journeys, you think, well, how am I going to do a meal out with my friends and not drink? Let's just say that, for example, or not have the crazy high-calorie food. How am I going to do maybe a bigger session with my mates in the pub? How am I going to do a wedding? These sort of things can definitely crop up, and it seems scary. When you do something like a 2-week holiday in Egypt, where I literally would have had absolute bare minimum 10 pints a day, so that's 140 pints over the 2-week period. That's tens of thousands of calories avoided. When you do things like this, it massively increases your confidence, and it basically lets your brain and body know that things that you thought were unachievable are achievable. Just stick to your plan. And obviously now I'm out in Dubai, so I'm here at the moment. I'll give you a quick snapshot. Out here in Dubai, obviously, and same story. This would be such an easy excuse to say my missus and kids are at home. I'm over here. Let's start nailing the drinks. I've lost the weight now. It would be such an easy excuse to do that, but I don't even want to. When you realise what you can achieve with the extra energy and time you've got, I legit don't even want to, which isn't easy all the time. Like I say, waking up this morning with that bit of fear, but the pros for me just massively outweigh the cons. I wouldn't have done any of this. I might have died after the Egypt holiday. Do you know what I mean? Just drinking so much. You know what it feels like, the hangovers. Just horrific. I didn't have one hangover on a 2-week holiday. That's just a game changer. So yeah, loads of pros have come from the transformation I've gone through, But the key point in all of this, all of those examples, is that the fear that you experience when you try something new, or where you don't try something new, where you're too scared to try something new, is typically going to come from, in my opinion, lack of confidence. It's that fear that you're going to fail. And like I've talked about previously, you need to invest. So you're going to be putting time and effort into these things, but you need to stick to that plan, and then your trend line is going to go in the right direction. Okay, just like investing money. You invest that money, sometimes it dips, sometimes it might go up. What you want to be tracking is that trend line. Is it going in the right direction? That's what you need to basically track. And yeah, sticking to the plan, believing in yourself. Like I say, so many opportunities present themselves where you think, fuck this, I just lost that match, I'm getting steaming. Don't get me wrong, I've done that in the past. I've had a few weeks off here and there where I've done exactly that. A few weeks off, feel amazing, smashing people at squash, get to a bigger match or something like that, and I lose to someone I used to beat. And I'm literally like, what the actual fuck? And I've literally said, oh, fuck this, get me a pint, bang. And then just nail it. That's what kept me stuck. Doing those sort of things, that's the problem. It's not just a blip in your trend line. When you do those things, you'll have a trend line which goes up and up and up. When you do the thing which is worse for you, so for me it'd be drinking, which would lead to eating and all that shit. When I did that, it wouldn't just be a little drop and then I'd carry on that trend line. It would just force me all the way back to the beginning. So if I've lost 6 pounds, I'd put the 6 pounds back on. That's what kept happening. It just kept me stuck. So investing, believing in yourself and sticking to the plan, that's the aim. You need to have the belief. Your belief will go up as you start seeing results. At the end of it, your belief is going to be way higher. But even when it's huge, you're still going to have certain lacks of confidence because I've never done YouTube before. So yeah, hence waking up with a bit of fear this morning. So I think we'll finish on, hopefully that's helpful, by the way. So hopefully that gives you a few tips that, to re-emphasize my point, you need to do your research, pick a plan which is proven to work, maybe from myself or whoever you want to listen to, or what works for your body. You need to stick to that plan, even when it feels like it's going wrong, or you're not getting the results, or you're losing to people, or you might look shit one day in your clothes because you've shrunk and now they're baggy. You need to just keep plowing on through those situations and ride those waves, is what I used to call it. Ride those shitty waves because they don't stop. Just ride the negative waves, and then your trend line will keep going and keep going and keep going, and then you can achieve what you just can't even believe at the other end of it. So that's really the main point from this video. And it brought me about, okay, so I've thought about what I've done well. How did I do that? How can I apply this to this YouTube feeling, this fearful feeling I've got? Why am I creating this content? Who do I think I am? So the long and short of it is, going back to my first transformation video, a quote that sticks with me. It's my own quote, which is funny. And it just came out of my mouth by accident. But it was when I was talking to my boy. So he was playing football, midfield. Loved his football back then. Now he's really into squash as well, which is phenomenal. I love playing with him. Both my boys. Anyway, he was playing football. He kept getting really frustrated because he was midfield and he wasn't scoring goals. Another match, no goal scored. Another match, no goal scored. And I remember chatting to him one day. And I said to him, okay, you're not scoring goals. He's like, no. I said, well, how many shots did you have? None. How many shots on target did you have? None. Any shots not on target? None. And I said, how can you expect to score if you're not even willing to shoot? And I said that in my original transformation video, and it's so true. That is true. You need to shoot in order to score. That's obvious. And if you keep shooting, you're probably going to score. But that advice is easy to give out. So it's easy for me to say that to him. It's harder to take that advice on board and actually apply it. And that's what I'm trying here. So that's the long and short of it. I'm creating these videos because I'm willing now to take shots. I may fail, I may miss. But if I don't shoot, then there's no way I'm going to score. Okay? And going back to what scoring looks like for me, it'll be people reaching out, which they already are, to say, I love these videos, or these are really helping me, or thanks for the tips. Or if I can get tens of people or hundreds of people to reach out to me to say, I've stopped drinking, I've lost 2 stone, I've changed my career, you gave me the confidence to change my career, or I've relocated my family because that's what we've always wanted to do, or we've gone on our dream holiday, which we never thought we could because we set ourselves a savings plan and we stuck to it, and with our fitness transformations, it made it all work, etc., etc., etc. That's what scoring looks like for me on this. So I felt like I need to take shots, which is what I'm doing here. Taking shots, creating this content. No idea where it will go. But why am I going to live in fear that this could flop? If I live in fear and I never create this content, I never made any video and put it on YouTube, then I've got no idea who it could reach or what lives it could change, for example. So I think that's the crux of it. Your confidence is going to grow whilst you progress with a journey, but I would stress that point. You have to take shots if you want to score. Stick to a plan, no matter how hard it feels during that plan. Just stick to it and you'll get there. There's something else I wanted to discuss on that as well. I can't think what it was. That's what I was going to talk about. So on taking shots, because I want to give real well-rounded advice. So this is the last point of that. Taking shots, like I said that to my boy, but then when I really thought about it, the actual problem there is that he's not taking the shots. So it's easy for me to say, just take the shots and eventually you will score. That doesn't actually solve the problem. It's a big part of the problem, and that's true. You need to take the shots in order to score. The actual problem is, why are you not shooting? And it goes back to my starting point. That's the lack of confidence. It's the fear. He wasn't shooting. He never said this, but this is what it will be. This is what it is with loads of people. He wasn't taking shots because he didn't want to get past the ball. He travels with it a little bit, absolutely pings it. It goes over the top. Misses the goal by a mile. He didn't have the confidence to be willing to fail. And that is the problem, realistically. And that's what we'll end on. So sometimes, despite the fear that you might have, so you're fearful, you don't want to miss, you don't want to look stupid, you don't want to go to kick the ball and miss the ball, whatever it may be, luckily throughout these journeys your confidence goes up. But even when you haven't got huge confidence, like this YouTube journey, never done it before, had that fear this morning, and then I thought, fuck this, take on board your own advice. And that is the root cause of the problem here. Taking shots, you need to do that to score goals, but what's stopping you from taking the shots is your lack of confidence and that fear. As your results start coming, you're going to have way more confidence in way more areas. So in the areas at the moment where you're not willing to take shots, you'll start taking shots. You'll start punting for different jobs which you thought were out of reach, different locations, different things. You're going to different activities, different hobbies, different sports. You might join a new sports club. All of these things. At the moment, if you're not doing all of the things you want to do, it's because you've got the lack of confidence and the fear that comes with that. You don't want to look stupid. And you probably don't want to start something in it to flop. That's the fear in itself. You don't want to start a brand new sport, buy the gear, start boxing, get the gloves, get the gum shield, get the shorts, the top, do all of that. 2 weeks later, you give it up. You don't want. You're fearful of that, and I get that. But you need to trust yourself and think, what's the worst that's going to happen? Actually think about the worst that's going to happen. You may fail, so this may flop, all this YouTube stuff may flop. If it does, hey ho. However, I'll learn from that anyway. You need to be willing to fail, because I'm going to try things, and some of the things that I'm trying at the moment are going to fail. That's the reality of life. What you need to do is then to carry on and learn from it, and that's going to be the aim. So yeah, I think that's it. That really helped me. It got me over those sort of doubts I had this morning. It made me realize where it was all coming from, what I've done already, the huge achievements I've realized, and the fact that, yeah, you just need to invest your time and effort, stick to your plan. Don't give in to the fear at the beginning, take your shots, and then you're going to score goals. So yeah, hopefully that helps some of you. Wanted to put that out there, feel better for putting it out there. And now I'm going to go for a walk in the marina, just to clear my head and yeah, think about this video. As per usual, like, subscribe, comment. I've said this in one of my other videos. It's super important. I never knew this, but the algorithms within YouTube, if you do interact with the video, like commenting, subscribing, liking it, it therefore learns what audience to send this video to. And therefore this video is going to go to the right people. I don't care about hitting millions of people. I want this content to go to the right people who can actually use it and who need it at the moment, and who can therefore try and transform their lives into something better, which you can. Absolutely 100% legit, you can. Huge tasks which seem out of reach, they're not. Like my weight loss journey, originally I wanted to get to 14 stone 13. That was the goal. 14 stone 13. So if anyone ever asked me, what do you weigh? I'm 14 stone something. Once I hit that, I thought, actually, I know what's working now. It's actually finally working. Let's go for 13, 13. Let's go for 12, 13. Let's go for 11, 13. All the way down now to 11 stone 2. And then I started tracking body weight instead of just, not body weight, body fat rather than weight. And the game changed near the end. But yeah, these things which seem monumental, you'll start breaking them down into manageable chunks. Hitting those goals. Once you start doing that, your confidence is going to go up. You'll realize that things which were out of reach are now in reach. And yeah, hopefully you can hit everything that you want to hit. So yeah, nice one. Cheers for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.